When you're in that kind of confinement, we call it solitary confinement, you're not supposed to have these things that you are able to hang yourself with. That's the whole point of the strict rules in there. You're not supposed to have 6 feet of cloth that you can dangle from the ceiling so you can hang yourself. This is prison 101. Yeah. So I agree with you. This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide. But is this Justice Department going to investigate it? Probably not.
Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who we all had high hopes for, they all said that they were going to go after the people, Jeffrey Epstein, and release all the transparency at the FBI. Here's what Kash Patel said. This is 3 years ago.
Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Who killed Jeffrey Epstein? How about that?
Let me talk about, so I've spent a lot of time in federal detention facilities as a public defender before, talking to my clients, so I kind of know how those work. He was in isolation. He was in a unit where he's in there not just to protect himself, but he's in there to protect the rest of the prison population because he was such a high profile case. What happens is in these units, there's supposed to be 24/7 guard duty on him directly. And from what I was able to learn in this, in the lead up to his suicide is the guard fell asleep. Now, I don't really buy that, but it's almost impossible to prove otherwise unless you can obtain the videotape. And usually there isn't video looking into people's cells for a lot of reasons. And so we're stuck with that narrative. And do you know what happened to these guards? Supposedly they were going to get charged, but I've never heard anything that happened to these prison guards. Maybe we should try to find them and let's talk to them.
Yeah. It's like the Andy Griffith thing, right? He falls asleep with his feet up on the desk, and then the key, you remember that they reach around and they grab the keys and they make their way out of the jail so they can go back to the saloon. I mean, it seems really ridiculous to me that the media wants us to believe that this is actually what happened. They're gaslighting.
And also, when you're in that kind of confinement, we call it solitary confinement, you're not supposed to have these things that you are able to hang yourself with. That's the whole point of the strict rules in there. You're not supposed to have 6 feet of cloth that you can dangle from the ceiling so you can hang yourself. This is prison 101. Yeah. So I agree with you. This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide. But is this Justice Department going to investigate it? Probably not.
So the media is desperate to attach Trump, like you said.
So now he is the Justice Department. Now he is the head of the FBI. And now here he is being asked in Congress, did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Oh, like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether.
Really? So the reason why you're slow walking all this, and remember he was all gung ho about, let's talk about those. Who are the victims that you're protecting? Then the FBI can't release this information about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide. Are the victims the sleeping guards? The people, the agents who snuck in and actually murdered him? Who are the victims that you're protecting? Because you sounded 3 years ago like you were really gung-ho on interviewing those guards and prosecuting them, or at least talking to them. Where are they? How come you're not parading them on TV? How come you're not talking and telling me you're talking to them? Where is it? So this is not what people voted for. Again, another thing. So as soon as they get power, they immediately flip. He went on with Maria Bartiromo and so she presses them whether Epstein truly killed himself. And watch this. Watch this.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan...
You mean your opinion? It was your opinion. That used to be your opinion. And now you are actually in a position of power to investigate it. But again, it'll probably expose Israel, and it'll probably expose the criminals actually running inside the Justice Department doing the bidding of Israel and the Mossad. Now we can't. Whatever. No, here we go. Let's watch it again.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work.
Boy, what a pushback by Maria Bartiromo. I know it's hard work. That's your follow-up? I know it's hard work. That's her follow-up. I know it's hard work.
Did they both find a dead horse head in their bed?
Yes. Sounds like it. Sounds like they woke up with a severed horse head in their bed. That's what it sounds like. So that is beyond disappointing. That is suspicious. And again, another promise not kept. Another promise not kept. He said he was going to reveal the Epstein's black book on day one. He's going to have complete transparency. And now here they are pushing the same establishment lie that Jeffrey Epstein somehow magically was able to, he hung himself all of a sudden. He was able to break his own neck. Yeah, okay. Okay. So this, again, this is another thing that MAGA is not happy about. And we'll see what happens. So Trump looks like he's going to get us into a war. He's going to keep doing the bidding of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. He's going to get us into another war in Iran. And now he's cozied up with Al-Qaeda in Syria. So it's a real mixed bag with Donald Trump, isn't it? Still hasn't ended the Ukraine war and hasn't stopped funding Ukraine. People are like, give him some time. Okay. Here we are. It's May 19th. He's been president since January 20th. Okay. And by the way, all that money they said they were saving with Doge, they're not saving it. All that money, they're taking that money and they're not cutting it from the budget. They're just giving it to the war machine. They're giving it right to Raytheon and Boeing and all the defense contractors, all the missile makers. They're just giving it to them. Elon Musk is another huge defense contractor, if not the biggest. And they're investing in surveilling you. So they're not cutting the budget. They're not doing that. They're cutting the budget for you. If you're a working person, if you're MAGA and you're working and you can't afford health care through Obamacare because it's astronomical, you're on Medicaid. A lot of working poor are on Medicaid. They're going to take that from you. Just like a lot of old people are on Medicaid in nursing homes. They're going to take that from you, and now that funding is going to fall on their family. So they're making people poorer as they're making sure their tax cuts stay for the millionaires, and they're making sure that their buddies at the war machine, at the Pentagon, military-industrial complex, get a raise. They get more money. Donald Trump's taking him from $800 billion to $1 trillion. That's the exact opposite, while he's going to start another war in Iran. While he keeps funding a genocide in Israel. By the way, Israel has health care. Nobody in Israel goes bankrupt when they get sick. You know who does? Americans. Okay, that is beyond disappointing. That is super suspect. No good. That is no good. Come see us live in Los Angeles, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Ottawa, Glasgow, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, London, Liverpool, Birmingham. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.